the Elementary Math New to CMS Crown Onboarding. We are glad you're here. We are the Super 6 Elementary Math Curriculum Specialists. Our learning outcomes for today are to identify key components of the Illustrative Mathematics CMS lesson structure, log in to MathRocks and explore the hub, learn about the essential elements of the Year at a Glance document, and investigate critical features of curriculum guides. Illustrative Mathematics is a free open-up resource that we have aligned to the North Carolina Standard Course of Study, hence the name IMCMS. The structure of each lesson follows the same flow kindergarten through 5th grade, beginning with a warm-up synthesis, followed by activities which include a synthesis, and the lesson closes with a lesson synthesis and cool down. This part of the lesson flow is considered core instruction and should be completed within 60 minutes. CMS instructional tenets allow for an additional 30 minutes to conduct small group instruction. Kindergarten and 1st grade introduce centers throughout the lesson activities, whereas 2nd through 5th grade centers happen after core instruction. In order to learn mathematics, students should spend time in math class doing mathematics. We call this a problem-based learning approach. Decades of research tells us that traditional models of instruction of the teacher tells students how to solve and students listen, or students practice and teacher corrects is flawed. Traditional instructional methods may get short-term results with procedural skills, but students tend to forget the procedural skills and do not develop problem-solving skills, deep conceptual understanding, or a mental framework for how ideas fit together. They also don't develop strategies for tackling non-routine problems, including a propensity for engaging in productive struggle to make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. The cognitive demand of tasks is on students, not the teachers. Teachers play a critical role in mediating student learning, but the role looks different than simply showing, telling, and correcting. The teacher's role is to ensure students understand the context and what is being asked, ask questions to advance students' thinking in productive ways, help students share their work and understand others' work through orchestrating productive discussions, and to synthesize the learning with students at the end of activities and lessons. Teachers should build on what students know. New mathematical ideas are built on what students already know about mathematics and the world, and as they learn new ideas, students need to make connections between them. In order to do this, teachers need to understand what knowledge students bring to the classroom and monitor what they do and do not understand as they are learning. Teachers must themselves know how the mathematical ideas connect in order to mediate students' learning. Let's talk about how to access the district's resources. You will navigate to Launchpad. You will click on CMS Instructional Resources, CMS ES Elementary School Math Resources, and it will have you enroll in MathRocks. MathRocks is where you will find everything you need for IMCMS Math. Pause the video here to access MathRocks. Welcome back. Each grade level has a year at a glance that maps out each unit and lesson as a suggested pacing to be sure you cover the grade level content throughout the year. It is recommended that you stay within 5 to 10 days of the year at a glance so that all content can be taught within the scope of the year. Let's highlight some of the things you can find on the year at a glance. Each slide represents a quarter of the school year. Holidays and breaks are identified with white cells. You can find titles of the units and standards that will be taught. There are a number of flex days in each quarter. They can be moved around based on school schedules. For example, universal screeners, assemblies, and school functions that may come up. Something to note: assessment windows are identified on the YAG for K2. For 3-5, suggested testing dates that fall within each assessment window are identified. K2 will offer a middle of the year assessment. It will cover the standards that are to be taught prior to the window. Grades 3rd through 5th will administer MVPA benchmarks twice a year, and anything scheduled prior to the test administration on the year at a glance will be covered on the benchmark. The year at a glance can be found on the grade levels page. When you get a chance, review the year at a glance for your grade level. Take a moment to jot down anything you'd like to remember about the year at a glance. Each grade level on Math Rocks has a unit button. When you click on this button, you will find the curriculum guide. Every unit will have a curriculum guide to support you as you plan and implement the standards and curriculum. You will now have time to explore a unit's curriculum guide. In your note catcher, jot down what you notice and wonder as you investigate all the curriculum guide has to offer. Pause the video here and return when you are ready to synthesize your learning. Hey there! You may have noticed that the curriculum guide houses everything that you will need to support instruction per unit. The standards that will be addressed throughout the unit and links to the North Carolina Unpacking document are available to support with standards aligned instruction. Assessment resources to include checklists, section checkpoints, unit assessments, and reassessments. Resources to support small group instruction, centers, unit overviews, and section summaries are all also available. Individual lesson notes are available to support teachers in weekly implementation. Access to individual lesson plans, slides to accompany instruction, cool downs, practice problems, and the student workbook can all be obtained through the curriculum guide. Thank you so much for spending time learning about IM CMS Mathematics. When you are finished participating in all the content areas you will teach, you will be offered knowledge-based questions. As you prepare weekly for your upcoming lessons, read and annotate them prior to attending grade level PLCs. Engage in intentional discussions with your team about the story and math of each unit. Prepare materials noted in the lessons. Remember, endless possibilities start with CMS. Thank you for all that you do to support student-centered, standards-aligned instruction within our district.